What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Tuesday, November 14th, 2023, and I have an emergency update to share with you guys. Right now, it is 2:19 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some presidential doomsday planes up in the air right now. We have two presidential doomsday planes over the United States, and we have two nuclear war command and control planes, and also a nuke sniffer plane flying over Missouri right now. So, what you're looking at here is the second presidential doomsday plane that was in the air so far today. It has the call sign Spice 25, and it looks like it took off from San Antonio, and it's currently heading northwest over Colorado. And we have the two nuclear war command and control planes here, one off the coast of Virginia out in the Atlantic off the continental shelf, and then one is heading northwest towards the Black Hills of South Dakota. And then we have the nuke sniffer plane with the call sign Cobra 31 flying over Missouri. So this is very, very unusual, and my guess is this is related to Xi Jinping arriving in the U.S. He's supposed to arrive any hour now, maybe even tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure exactly when he's going to be arriving, but it could be related to that. It could be something different. But two doomsday planes up in the air is extremely unusual, and also a nuke sniffer. Here's the first doomsday plane that was airborne, and it took off from Offutt Air Base and it flew all the way down towards Arizona, and it either turned off its transponder somewhere near the Gila National Forest, or there was just no tracking over there because it's a very remote location. But my guess is it flew to Tucson. They often fly to Tucson for some reason. That's one of the places that they go to, or San Antonio. So this is pretty interesting, guys. Okay, two doomsday planes in the air. Okay, right now today, with nuclear war command and control planes and a nuke sniffer. And last night we had a nuke sniffer flying between Sweden and Latvia in the Baltic Sea. This is extremely unusual. And we also had a rivet joint, that's a reconnaissance plane, fly all the way up to northern Finland along the border with Russia. So this is extremely unusual, and I'm not sure why they would send a nuke sniffer into the Baltic Sea. And you can see here these neon green colors of the flight path of the nuke sniffer represent a low altitude. So it was flying in these finger-like patterns here between the Gotland Island and Latvia. And this is extremely unusual, guys. I can't remember the last time I've seen a nuke sniffer in the Baltic Sea at the same time as a rivet joint patrolling this area as well. I mean, just in general, seeing a nuke sniffer in the Baltic Sea is very rare. So I don't know if they were trying to detect a Russian nuclear sub in this area, or maybe they were trying to see if Russia has any nuclear weapons stored in Kaliningrad, or if Russia was doing some kind of nuclear test in this area. I have no idea. This is extremely unusual. If anybody has any idea why this thing would be flying here, please send me an email or send me a message through my website using the contact form. Anybody that has prior military experience with these planes would be preferable, because this is very, very strange and very concerning. And if you've been watching my channel for the last few weeks, you'll know that I've been talking about the activity here in the Baltics, Russia moving equipment into Kaliningrad, and just a lot of NATO forces here, a lot of reconnaissance in this area. So I'm very concerned about something popping off in the Baltics and in Poland, potentially Russia attacking Poland and the Baltic countries. I'm very concerned about that, guys. All right. So here we have the latest positions of U.S. aircraft carriers in the Mediterranean and the Middle East. So we have the Dwight Eisenhower right off the coast of Oman, and we have the Gerald Ford just southwest of Cyprus, and then we have the Marine Corps amphibious assault group over here in the northern Red Sea. So you can see that they're basically positioned in all the major areas of the Middle East. They have a carrier strike group in the Gulf of Oman area. They have assets in the Red Sea. They have a missile defense ship here, the Aegis ship, which they already used to intercept a missile that was launched at Israel. And then they have a carrier strike group in the Eastern Mediterranean. So it's like a triangle. You know, they're covering the whole Middle East here with these three different battle groups. I think we're going to see some kind of massive escalation soon with Hezbollah, and I think Israel may go into Lebanon soon, and also something with Iran. And we're seeing more and more attacks on U.S. bases, guys. Okay, and maybe that's why we have the two Doomsday planes in the air today. But apparently, there were massive explosions near the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. And apparently, these explosions were heard in the green zone of Baghdad. This is the location of all the foreign embassies, including the U.S. And the Pentagon has increased the total count of attacks on U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria to 55. 55 attacks, guys. And I think it's much higher than that. And apparently 59 personnel have been injured, okay? 59 personnel injured and 55 attacks. That's pretty serious. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Iran said the siege of Al-Shifa Hospital by Israel and the targeting of medical centers in Gaza is a shameless crime. Israel commits indescribable crimes in Gaza, and America is responsible for it. Washington's obstruction of the ceasefire leads to the expansion of the war. Stopping Israeli aggression and the withdrawal of occupying forces from Gaza will prevent the spread of the war. Okay, so they're saying, Iran is saying that America is responsible for all this, and that the only way to stop the war from spreading is if Israel pulls out of Gaza, which is not going to happen. And a French defense minister is going to be visiting Israel for the first time since the year 2000. That's 23 years. And the Israeli army said as a result of the operations in Gaza, it has secured control over government buildings that were used by Hamas. And 4 anti-tank missiles were fired today at an Israeli army camp in the Upper Galilee on the border with Lebanon. So there's more attacks coming from Hezbollah today, and Israel is responding back. They carried out an airstrike in the outskirts of the town of Aida al-Shab in southern Lebanon. There were some violent explosions heard in Tel Aviv today after rockets were fired from Gaza. One person was critically injured, and apparently it was the result of a missile that fell. I guess the debris fell. And apparently, a Houthi ground to ground missile was fired from Yemen earlier today and intercepted by the Israeli Arrow long range missile defense system. And an IDF spokesman said that the missile was intercepted over the Red Sea. It never entered Israeli airspace, but the target was Eilat. They were launching this missile at Eilat, the Yemeni rebels there, or the Yemen armed forces, because the Yemeni armed forces officially declared war on Israel already. Okay, so the Yemen military is basically in a state of war. So this is very serious, guys. And just 3 days ago, I think it was, or 4 days ago, Israel intercepted ICBM with their Arrow defense system that was fired from Yemen. It was Arrow 3 missile that they used to intercept this Yemeni ICBM. And the Arrow 3 missile is used for shooting out satellites. It has a range of 1,500 miles. And that's the first time in Israel's history that they had to use the Arrow 3 system. And this is the first time in Israel's history that they've been targeted so much by ICBMs. These are literally ICBMs that are being fired at Israel. Okay, they're coming from Yemen, and that's a really long ways away. So this is very, very concerning, guys. And the Egyptian foreign minister said, we categorically reject the policies of forced displacement of Palestinians. And they've said that numerous times, that they're not going to allow Israel to push out the Palestinians into Egypt. So we'll have to wait and see if this causes a war between Egypt and Israel. They already have their tanks at the border with Gaza. And when this whole thing started, the Egyptian president called for snap military drills. So anything is possible, guys. And Turkey filed a lawsuit against Benjamin Netanyahu in the International Criminal Court, and they're accusing him of genocide in the Gaza Strip. And here's a copy of the paperwork for that lawsuit that they filed with the International Criminal Court. And here we have a picture that was released by the Houthi rebels in Yemen, basically threatening container ships and shipping vessels that go through the Red Sea. They're going to target them with ballistic missiles, and the caption says, "We will sink your ships." And this video is sponsored by NYPrepper Supply. Guys, we're living in very uncertain times, and you need to make sure your family has emergency food. When World War III starts, you're not going to be able to go to your grocery store to get food. Or when there's a power outage caused by natural disasters or cyber attacks. So you cannot rely on grocery stores to feed your family. You need to have emergency food. And NYPrepper Supply makes it very easy to prepare for these uncertain times. They have a 3-month emergency food supply, and it has a 25-year shelf life, and it's all contained within 6 rugged, water-resistant buckets, and you get a wide variety of food, from dinners, lunches, breakfasts, drinks, snacks. So you're not going to get bored eating the same food every single day in a real SHTF situation. They also have a 2-week emergency food supply, which is a great option for camping. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get the 3-month or 2-week emergency food supply from NYPrepper Supply. There's a link in the description below this video. It's an excellent gift idea for a prepper. They also have a general store. When you go to that page, you click on their logo, and once you click on their logo, it'll take you to their general store, where they have MREs, solar generators, potassium iodide, survival seeds, a whole bunch of stuff, fire starters, water filters. All of these are excellent gift ideas for the prepper in your family. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get the 3-month and 2-week emergency food supplies. The link is in the description below this video. And here we have a picture of some of the Hamas tunnels. Okay, look at this tunnel, guys. This is absolutely insane. And there was another missile attack on a U.S. military base at the Conoco oil field in eastern Syria near Deir Azor. And the Islamic Resistance of Iraq has published a letter claiming responsibility. They wrote, the Mujahideen of the Islamic Resistance in Iraq targeted the American occupation base in the Conoco oil field in Syria with a missile salvo, which directly hit its targets. The Norwegian Foreign Minister Espen Barth said, we condemn Israel's siege of the Gaza Strip. So the Norwegian government is basically going against Israel. The Chancellor of Germany, Olaf Scholz, is supporting Israel, and he said in a speech recently that Israel is a democracy. This has to be said very clearly. There is no doubt about this, and we will emphasize in every conversation and at every opportunity that this is our view. Israel is a country committed to human rights and international law and acts accordingly. And that is why The accusations being made against Israel are absurd, and there can be no doubt about this. So, strong words there from Olaf Scholz. I'm very surprised to hear that. Looks like some European countries are against Israel, some of them are pro Israel, but so far we do know that Emmanuel Macron is against Israel. He's calling for a unilateral ceasefire, and the Norwegian Foreign Ministry is condemning what they call Israel's siege of the Gaza Strip. And fighter jets of the Israeli Air Force recently attacked a number of terrorist infrastructures of the Hezbollah organization in Lebanon. And also, an IDF tank attacked a terrorist squad that was trying to launch anti tank missiles from Lebanon to the Yifta area. And a Yemen army spokesman asked Saudi Arabia to open their borders so that the Yemen army and the Houthi rebels can travel to Israel to fight against Israel. And the IDF is currently transferring incubators from a hospital in Israel to the Shifa hospital in Gaza. And today, right now, there's a march going on in Washington, D.C. against anti Semitism. It's called the March for Israel. And because of this, Homeland Security has raised the threat level to the highest level possible, which is level 1. They're expecting attacks on the people that are attending this March for Israel rally. And the IDF estimates that there are 1,300 tunnels spanning 1,500 kilometers beneath Gaza, and that the tunnel system has multiple levels, including entry and launch locations inside of buildings for personnel and rocket launches, reinforced passageways for rocket transport and maneuvering, and tunnels that house the oxygen generation and air movement system generator, meeting and sleeping rooms, and apparently the Gaza metro system also is part of this tunnel network. And they have locations for storing weapons, ammunition, and fuel. So this is like something out of a video game, guys. This is like something out of the Metro 2033 video games. This is insane. It's like not even real. It's something out of Call of Duty. It's absolutely crazy. And Finland is going to prepare a proposal to close border crossing points with Russia soon. This is coming from the Finnish Minister of Interior. So that is huge. Looks like Finland is worried about Russia. We know that a lot of the Baltic countries, including Poland, have closed most of their borders to Belarus and Russia. And Slovakia's defense minister said his country will no longer supply weapons to Ukraine at all. So that's the latest information that I have, guys. Things are continuing to escalate. I will be back later on this evening with another update, so make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell icon so you're notified of these emergency updates when I post them. Check out my Patreon. The link is in the description below this video. It's just NYPrepper. If you search me on Patreon, patreon.com/NYPrepper. And check out my sponsors, My Patriot Supply, Olight, Mason Leather, a bunch of other ones. Check it out. And other than that, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.